There sits old Miss Strow. I have an acquaintance with her from back about 1975 or so. The fellow that owned it kept her at York River Yacht Haven, and I knew her from there. She's a nice old boat, probably. I don't think she could get out of her own way to windward. Plenty seaworthy, I would think. Been sitting here several years. I'm not sure anybody's even paid to keep her. I wonder how much longer it'll be before they take a chainsaw to her. These folks down here don't have much mercy on old boats that aren't, where the owners don't pay to keep them. Worth going to court over to get title to in order to sell her. I don't know. Depends on how bad she is inside, I guess. But I knew her owner back then. Miles Standish. The pictures of the inside of this boat are not the pictures of the inside of Miss Strow, because I have no idea what she looks like inside now. But this is pretty much what her appearance was back when Miles was living, and I used to go aboard her once in a while with him, sit and talk. Just beautiful inside. Great for a young couple to live aboard and travel, and I'm sure she'll take just about any kind of weather. Perfect as far as I'm concerned for a couple people, and if she could be bought reasonably, that would be great for them. Miles Standish, 1854 to 1656, was an Englishman, military officer hired by the Pilgrims as a military advisor for the Plymouth colony. He accompanied them on the Mayflower journey, played a leading role in the administration and defense of Plymouth colony from its inception. On February 17, 1621, the Plymouth Colony Militia elected him as its first commander and continued to re-elect him to that position for the remainder of his life. He served as an agent of Plymouth Colony in England, as assistant governor, as treasurer of the colony, and he was also one of the first settlers and founders of the town of Duxbury, Massachusetts. A defining characteristic of Standish's military leadership was his proclivity for preemptive action, which resulted in at least 2 attacks on small skirmishes on different groups of Native Americans. The Damascus raid and conflict in West Gossett Colony. During those actions, Standish exhibited considerable courage and skill as a soldier, but also demonstrated a brutality that angered the American natives and disturbed more moderate members of the colony. Several towns and military installations have been named for Standish, and monuments have been built in his memory. One of the best known depictions of him in a popular culture was the 1858 poem, The Courtship of Miles Standish by Henry Wadsworth Longfellow. The highly fictionalized story presented him as a timid romantic. It was extremely popular in the 19th century and played a significant role in the cementing of the Pilgrim story in U.S. culture. Well, I knew Miles Standish VI. He kept the boat at York River Yacht Haven Marina, across from Yorktown, there on Sarah's Creek. And I knew him pretty well. He was an older man. This was about 1980. He was an older man, tall, handsome old fella. Very, very polite, and and a smart fellow. I think he was well educated, and he was very interesting to talk to. I liked him a lot. Well, we got up one morning, stepped on the dock off the boat to walk up the dock, and there were a crowd of people standing on the dock. Miles Standish VI had passed away. We were all shocked and surprised because he was really well liked. Anyway, he was the last Miles Standish of a long line. He had a son, but he didn't name him Miles Standish. He told me that the name had been too well used, and the boy didn't need that mark on his life that required him to be better than he might be. So he named him something else that I don't remember what it was. But anyway, his old boat is down at the marina where I keep my boat. She's setting up on the hard, fast going to the dogs. I don't know whether the grandson or whoever now owns her is paying to keep her there or not. I know one thing, if they're not, it's not going to be so terrible long before they take a chainsaw to her and chop her up. I mean, after all, you run a marina, you got to be able to get paid. And they have some boats there not paying. They've cut up several of them since I've been there the last 3 years. They're good people, and the lady that owns is a very nice lady, but, you know, you got to make money if you're going to run a business. So anyway, I like the boat. She's big for her length. She's fat, which gives her a lot of room inside. She's full keel, which gives her good directional stability. She's double-ended, which is probably nice in a following sea. Heavy built. Really beautiful interiors in them. I don't know about the condition of the old boat there at the marina, but she was at one time beautiful. I was aboard her several times, quite a few times actually, when Miles owned her. I always felt a little sad that Hank Wadsworth Longfellow saw fit to make Miles Standish out to be some kind of a sissy-faced, lovesick fellow when he was actually quite a warrior. And I guess Miles, and I know Miles felt that way about it. He had not a good word to say for Longfellow. And I think the man was a liar. He put forth a poem as though it was the truth. And I don't think he cared a thing except about making rhymes and telling stories that would be printed in newspapers and magazines. And it'd been all right if he hadn't put someone's name to it and a family name that was made to look kind of silly to the public. But anyway, I kind of like the boats. I would have rather had it a ketch if I was going to have one of them. And I certainly wouldn't expected much speed out of her. After all, fat little boat short on sail with long keels and outboard rudders, double-ended, can't expect to be so fast. After all, people thought the Tahiti ketches were wonderful, and there was not a slower boat in the world than a Tahiti ketch, but they did make a steady 3 knots. You could get in a Tahiti ketch almost any kind of weather, and you might get up to 5 knots if it was plenty of wind. But, you know, 3 knots was about what they did most of the time. Well, if you go sail around the world, I guess, unless you're in a hurry to get there, it don't make a heck of a lot of difference. And that was the thinking of the time, safe and steady. I miss Miles, and I'm sorry that his grandson or son somehow or another is not keeping the boat up, and I don't know why they don't sell it before it goes completely to the dogs. But I would think if I was looking for a nice live-aboard boat for 2 people, I would sure go take a look at her and see if they wouldn't sell her for a price that is affordable. The old boat is at Mob Jack Bay Marina on the North River, setting up on the hard. So I'd take a look at it if I was interested. I'm a little old for such a boat now. I've got a little 27-foot Alban Vega that supplies my needs, and it's probably more work than I want to do anyway. And but I hope this coming summer to get a lot of sailing done. I want to revisit many of the places where I've been on the Chesapeake Bay, creeks I've been up into and snuck into. So I've got a good amount of work to do in the spring on my boat. Got to paint the decks. The hull was painted last year. And I got a lot of interior work to do. But mostly cosmetic stuff, nothing major. Just a lot of work. So anyway, good luck to you all, and hope you've enjoyed this little yarn. Maybe you'll buy the boat I like. Bye-bye all.